Oh, moving this bin. I got the new cart over there with some water, with 20 gallons worth of water buckets. But I want to drag this over to its final resting spot. And this is how I'm dragging it. It's too big to put on that cart. I mean, I might be able to get it on there, but I'm just going to drag it. And this seems to be going pretty well, actually. With a strap hooked up to it, I just drag it. Good workout. And I haven't mowed this part of the yard yet, so I'll come through, and any spots I take up with this thing while I'm dragging, I'll just fill in later. And I gotta come through here with the mower in the next 2 days. Alright, good morning YouTubers. It is early morning Saturday. I'm not wearing pants, but that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Don't use it against me because it's a Saturday. But it's the 20th of February 2020, and we still have a little while before all this ice melts out there. But I have all my MC4 tools for MC4 solar connections right here. This is what we're going to try to install here. The male and female MC4 connectors. And that's what we're going to install it on. The white is positive. And this is the deep well submergible pump. That's Deecee. It runs off of Deecee. EcoWorth makes it. A bunch of different companies make it, though. It's made somewhere in China. And there's like 20 different companies that are selling it on Amazon. But right now, what we're going to do is try to put the right MC4 connectors on these. So when we put this in our shallow well down on the other side of the property, once that all dethaws, we've got a big holding tank that we're going to try to pump water up to. So that way, if we get into a drought later in the year, I don't have to worry so much about running out of water in the well. So we're going to need a pump to get it up the hill. It's about 30 feet. This thing's supposed to pump like 40 to 80 feet, depending on how much power you have going to it. And everybody I see online says that you can run this straight off of a solar panel, a 100-watt solar panel, and it will have enough power to pump up 30 feet, no problem. You can also hook it up to a controller and a battery, and then hook a timer up to it and everything, and then you can control how much water is running when it's running. That way, if you're like watering cattle or something, it's not just overflowing all the time. But I'm going to hook it directly into a solar panel, so when the sun comes up in the morning it will run, and then when it goes down it will turn off every night. And since it's going to be like 40 feet of lift, it'll probably be running pretty slow. And I'm estimating that it's gonna run slow enough that the tank won't be overflowing as long as I use the water for watering gardens every morning. Yeah, there should be plenty of room in the tank. So right now, I'm gonna try to figure out how to use this tool here. So I've never used it before. It's gonna be my first time. It's gonna be my first time putting one of these MC4 connectors on. And I got to make sure that the female and the male are right. That way, when you put the extension cord that goes in between, you know, I have like I have one of these, which this is only 20 feet. I might need to get another 10-footer to add to this. But I got to make sure that the male and female, MC4 connectors are in the right place, so at the end of the length of extension, it's a positive going into the positive on the solar panel, you know. So each time you use an extension, you go from male to female to male to female. So you have to start with the right one on the right side for it to be in the right position on the other end, which hopefully I explained that well enough. But that's the goal here. I'm actually going to have to pause this video because I don't have any directions here, so I'm going to go watch a YouTube video or two just to make sure that I'm doing this right. And then, I don't know, I guess we'll use this little tool to clip that thing together, and hopefully we can get a watertight seal on these MC4 connectors. So let me go and check out how to do this properly, and then I'll come back. We got a bunch of solar coming this week, so we're going to be working on solar all week. Okay, I see how this goes. I'm at least going to do one on camera. The other one I might not do, but so you get two prongs. It's a male and a female connector, and then you get two prongs, and the prongs are a male and female, you know, and connect. But the thing that I just learned online is that the male connector, connector here, actually goes inside the female, and then the female connector goes inside the male. So when they go together, that's how they go. So I'm just making sure one more time that I got this right. Yep, it's got to be a female. It's going to be a male to female. Well, I don't know how much line I'm supposed to have. I don't know how far this is supposed to go in here. I don't know, it's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say, but this is the female connector, and then you use this tool here, I guess. Huh. I'm not really 100% positive on how this is supposed to go. Nope, that's not it. Oh, damn it. Oh man, once you start it, the tool doesn't open up. So, yeah, you gotta make sure you don't mess that up like I just did. Let me take another closer look at this. Hold on. Alright. It's kind of focused. I don't know. Once I pick up the tool, it should be focused. So I'm still not positive. I think this right here is supposed to crimp on the sleeve of the wire and not the actual wire. It's hard to say though. I'm not an electrician. And there's 3 different slots on this tool, and the stuff we're using today fits into the biggest slot. Oh yeah, this is how it goes. Fuck. Oh, sorry for the swearing. Okay. I mean, I guess that's it. And we already put the sleeve on it, and this is like the tightening sleeve underneath. So when you go to tighten it, that's what will make it like a tight seal around the wire. And then you take this female connector, slide this male dowel through it, and then it clicks. Yeah, you can feel it click. It's pretty positive click. And then you just tighten this sucker down, I guess. Let's see if I can get it to work on camera. Would be nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's lined up in there. Yeah, you can see it. So that's it, I guess. Luckily I have 3 or 4 of these just in case this doesn't work. But there's the female connector on this water pump. And now I'll get the stuff to do the other one and pop that on. It's the same exact thing for the female and male. You know, we'll just slide the female prong on here, and then the male unit on here. But it's a real pain doing it on the camera here, especially the way I have it set up. So I'll bring you guys back once this is done. Alright, there it is. I put the positive sticker back on the white cord because with this pump, this is the positive, so it has to be the right way or it won't pump the right way, you know. I actually forgot to put the 2 sleeves on before I clamped the pin on, but luckily they had enough room that I could slip it over that pin still. And then just tightened it up, so now it's all connected. So I should be able to put the extension cord on this and then run it up the hill to the opening where I have sun, because where the well is down the hill is in the middle of a bunch of overgrowth. There's no sun down there, so I should be able to put this in the well, the pump, and then have these wires running up the hill to the extension, and then the extension running up to the hill where I have some trees cleared where I can lean the solar panel. So there's the water pump, all wired up and ready. Still got 2 more months left before it's time for her. But yeah, hopefully that works. I mean, I suppose I could get a bucket of water and hook it up to the solar tomorrow to test it to see if it's working, make sure nothing's smoking or anything weird. But I'm pretty sure that, I mean, those MC4 cables are pretty straightforward, so I think that went pretty good. Alright, here we are, early morning. It's May 14th, my little brother's birthday. Happy birthday, little bro. But we're here, we loaded up the cart. We've got the bug net on and everything because the black flies are really bad right now. They got really bad yesterday, and the mosquitoes are pretty bad too. And where we're gonna hook up this stuff down at the well, they're even worse because it's all wet down there and it's pretty much right next to the swamp. But we got the Renogy 50 watt solar panel, a 50-foot solar cord with MC4 connections on it, and our 24-volt solar well pump with MC4 connectors on it. And this is actually a year later. This is a year after the videos we were just watching where we hooked up those MC4 cables to this pump. And I used this system all year last year. So we got to stop at the shed and get the 50-foot of hose that runs down the hill to where the well is and up to the tank. So I'm gonna stop at the shed and grab that hose, and then I'll see you guys out at the water tank by the well. Here we are at the tank. It's like a 275-gallon tank. It originally had hydrogen peroxide in it, but cleaned it all out last year and used it all last year. I'm gonna turn it. I gotta turn it so the spout is facing downwards. In the winter, I turn it the opposite way so the sprout is facing upwards. That way, no water can channel down into the spout during the winter, because if that spout freezes during the winter, it'll crack and it'll ruin this tank basically, as it's hard to get a new spout on there. So I got the solar panel. Solar panel will go right there in the sun, and there's a hill down there that goes down towards the well. So no tripod today, so I'm just gonna set this stuff up and I'll bring you guys out, and then once it's all once I run the wire and run the hose, I'll bring you guys back and show you the setup. But yeah, the goal will be to get that filled in the next 3 days, and it takes about 2.5 or 3 days to fill it up with this 50-watt panel. And that's with it. I only get about 6 hours of sun here every day, so that's about 18 hours of running that it takes to fill this thing. So it runs pretty slow, but my well fills pretty slow, and my well's only like 30 or 40 gallon capacity, so that's why I'm using this. You can use up to a 200-watt panel and you'll get, 4 times as much water coming up the hose, but my well would just run dry the whole time. It took me a little while too. I had to go and look for one of these, a little hose clamp, because the hose clamp needs to be on the inside of the well on that hose, and there should have been one on that hose from last year, but I guess I lost it somewhere when packing up last year. So I'm gonna run all this and then I'll bring you guys back. Here we are. It's all running up the hill. I tie it up to the tree so that cable's not sitting right in the mud all summer. You know, MC4 cables are waterproof, but you probably don't want them sitting right in the mud and in the water all summer. So it runs in here. You have to run the hose first and then clamp it onto the pump. The pump is in there. And there's a little cut for the wire. Fuck you. God damn it. Of course this wire is just barely big enough. Sorry, I just shook you guys all up. So anyways, the top's on there. There's a little cord, a little piece of paracord, so you can pull the pump out when you need to, although it's not that deep. A little bit of dirt and crud here. Probably should get rid of. But yeah, now I'm just gonna plug these in right here, hook the MC4 cables together, and then we'll go up top and hook it to the solar panel, and this thing should start flowing immediately. So fingers crossed. Oh, I just blocked out the sun. Okay, so this is a new solar panel too, so I'm just testing it. The one we used last year is on the cabin. It's all mounted, so I figured it was easier just to order another $60 panel than to take it all off the cabin and use the extra power at the cabin this summer. I hear it running, although there's a big cloud about to go through. And like I said, this is kind of a low wattage setup. Oh yeah, it's running though. Oh yeah, that water is ice cold. So, out of breath, but the pump, the sun is not very good right now. But it'll probably take about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to fill up this 5-gallon bucket, depending on how good the sun is. But there's a bunch of clouds up there. So I'm gonna fill up this bucket and have some cool water up to bring back to camp. But yeah, so that's the water system. That's a solar powered water system, and it runs fine for me. And once I have this tank full, my neighbor has another tank like this. I couldn't find another one to buy, but he's gonna let me borrow one of his for the summer. That way I can fill this and then use that solar pump, another solar pump, to pump it across the property. That solar well pump that I showed you, that thing has a 100-foot lift on it, which lifting water is the hardest. That takes the most power usually. You have to have a certain pump for that, you know. It has to be a well pump really if you're gonna lift. And I have about 35 feet of hill here just to get from the well to this tank. So these have worked really good. If you can see, there's a lot of black flies right now. They are out really hard right now. This is like the first 2 days of the black fly season, so I got a whole month of this. Black flies definitely make it a lot harder to get stuff done. But in the next 3 days, this thing should be full, and then hopefully the neighbor will bring over that other tank, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get about 150 to 200 feet of line run through the woods, like in that direction. And I should be able to put another tank right next to the vegetable garden that's at the top of the hill. And then I'll be able to send that water to any part of the property because that's on the highest part of the hill. So that's the water plans for this year, and that's my off-grid well system. So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about it, just leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. I'm trying to do more YouTube lately, trying to get some YouTube stuff done, and spend more time working on my page. You know, I've just been focused the last 2 years on getting myself comfortably set up out here, and it's been pretty hardcore. You know, there's no power on the property, and I'm way out in the woods, and there's a lot of elements like the bugs, and the weather is just always making things hard. So yeah, we'll try to do more YouTube videos this year, although I say that every year, but I'm actually trying to do it this year. So this 5-gallon bucket's almost full. The water is at about 40 degrees. It comes out really cold out of this well, especially in the spring. So hopefully we get this whole thing filled in the next 3 days. I'll see you guys on the next video.